My parents told me I should be thankful I was not the favorite. Apparently, neglect was supposed to be a blessing. I am a 33-year-old woman, and my mother just told me the most honest thing she has ever said. She said, "You should be grateful we did not pay as much attention to you. It made you stronger. Your sister needed us more. You turned out fine on your own." I asked her to repeat it.
She did.
Without hesitation, without shame. I hung up the phone and sat in my apartment for a long time. Then I opened my laptop and started writing this. Because I want people to understand what it is like to be told that your neglect was actually a gift. The two daughters. My parents have two daughters. My sister Vanessa is 36. I am 33. Vanessa has been the favorite since the day I was born. Maybe before. I know this not because I am bitter. I know this because my parents have said it out loud, in those words, multiple times throughout my life. When I was 9, I asked my mom why Vanessa got to stay up later than me even though I had good behavior, and she did not. Mom said, "Vanessa needs more from us. You are easier." That is a compliment. When I was 12, I asked why they had gone to every single one of Vanessa's school plays, but only 2 of my soccer games in 3 seasons. Dad said, "Your sister gets more anxious in performances. She needs the support. You are tough. You do not need us there the same way." When I was 16, I asked why they paid for Vanessa's driving lessons but told me to figure it out myself. Mom said, "We spent so much helping Vanessa that month. You always land on your feet." The answer was always a version of the same thing. Vanessa needs us. You do not. As if needing less made me deserve less. As if my self-sufficiency was a reason to give me nothing rather than a result of being given nothing. The childhood. Let me tell you what childhood looked like from where I was standing. Vanessa had anxiety.
Real anxiety.
Diagnosed and treated.
I do not minimize that.
Anxiety is real and treatment matters. But anxiety became the explanation for everything. The permission for everything. The excuse for everything. Vanessa could not do her own laundry because of her anxiety. Vanessa could not handle conflict because of her anxiety. Vanessa could not be expected to hold a job for more than 6 months because of her anxiety. And because Vanessa needed managing, all family resources flowed to her. Emotional energy.
Time.
Money. Attention. I became invisible by contrast. Not dramatically. Not cruelly. Just quietly overlooked in the way you overlook something that is not demanding your attention. I learned not to cry at things because nobody came. I learned to solve problems myself, because asking felt pointless. I learned to celebrate my own achievements because nobody else marked them. Got straight A's. Good for you said in passing. Made the varsity team. Oh, that is nice said from behind a newspaper. Got accepted to university on a partial scholarship. Your father and I need to talk about Vanessa right now. Can we discuss this later? Later never came. I planned myself. Funded myself. Built myself. From the outside, this looked like independence. From the inside, it felt like abandonment. The money. My parents paid for Vanessa's college. All 4 years. Then 2 more years when she changed her major. Then 1 semester at a different school when the second school was too stressful. 7 years total. At private school rates. I got a small contribution in my first year. When I asked about year 2, my mother said they had less than they expected after Vanessa's needs that year. I took out loans. Worked 25 hours a week during the school year. 40 hours in summers. Graduated with $41,000 in debt. Paid it off over 7 years. When I made my last payment, I called home to share the news. Dad picked up. I said, "I just paid off my student loans. Every dollar." He said, "Good for you. Hey, Vanessa is here. Can you talk to her? She is having a hard week." I talked to Vanessa for 20 minutes about her bad week. Nobody asked how I was doing. The weddings. Vanessa got married at 29. My parents contributed $40,000 to the wedding. Beautiful venue. Full catering. Open bar. Professional photographer. Live band. I was a bridesmaid. I paid for my own dress. My own travel. My own alterations. Nobody offered to cover any of it. I got married at 31 to a man named David, who is the steadiest, kindest person I have ever known. We planned a small wedding. 30 people. Backyard of his parents' home. Catered by a local restaurant. His aunt did the flowers. Beautiful. Meaningful.
Ours.
I asked my parents a few months before if they could contribute anything. Mom said, "Oh, honey, we are still helping Vanessa with some things from the wedding. And you know how to stretch a dollar. You always make things work." They gave us $500. A card and $500. After $40,000 for Vanessa's wedding. David squeezed my hand when I told him. He said, "Their contribution is not a measure of our marriage." He was right, but it was a measure of something. The grandchildren. Vanessa has 2 kids. My parents adore them. They babysit twice a week. They send gift packages. They go to every school event. Every birthday party is at Grandma and Grandpa's house with elaborate decorations. David and I have one son. His name is Oliver, and he is 4 years old, and he is the most wonderful person I have ever met. My parents have met Oliver 6 times. He was born 300 miles away from them, which I understand is a factor. But they drove to Vanessa's house, which is 290 miles away, every few months. They have visited us once since Oliver was born. For 4 days. 3 of those days my mom spent on the phone with Vanessa, managing a disagreement Vanessa had with her neighbor. I noticed Oliver noticing that Grandma was always on her phone. He asked, "Does Grandma not like playing?" I said, "Grandma is just busy today." He accepted that the way 4-year-olds accept things they do not fully understand. I did not accept it, but I did not say anything. Because I never said anything. Because saying something was never the pattern. The birthday. Oliver's 4th birthday was 3 weeks ago. We had a small party at our house. A few of his preschool friends. David's parents. Our close friends. My parents did not come. They had said they would try. Then 2 weeks before they said Vanessa was going through something hard, and they did not want to leave her. They sent a card with $50. David's parents brought a wagon full of presents and stayed all day, and helped clean up and held Oliver while he fell asleep on the couch, exhausted and happy. That night after Oliver was in bed, I called my mom. I told her calmly that I was hurt they had not come to Oliver's birthday. She said, "We were needed here. You understand." I said, "I am not sure I do understand. Your grandson turned 4, and you were not there." She said, "Vanessa needed us." I said, "Vanessa is 36 years old. I needed my parents at my son's birthday." And that is when she said it. That is when she said the thing I started the story with. She said, "You should be grateful we did not pay as much attention to you. It made you stronger. Your sister needed us more. You turned out fine on your own." I asked her to repeat it because I could not believe she had actually said it. She repeated it without hesitation, like it was reasonable, like it made sense, like decades of being told I did not need as much was a kindness done to me, like my self-sufficiency was a gift they had given me rather than something I had built despite them. I hung up the phone. The clarity. That night David sat with me while I cried. Not from sadness, exactly. From something that felt more like clarity finally arriving after a very long wait. He asked, "What do you want to do?" I thought about it. Not reactively. Not from the crying place. But really thought about it. What did I want? I did not want an apology that was not real. I had gotten those before.
Sorry if you feel that way.
Sorry you misunderstood. Sorry you are so sensitive. I did not want to keep explaining myself to people who had made clear they would not hear it. I did not want Oliver growing up watching his mother accept being treated as less than. What did I want? I wanted to stop pretending everything was fine. I wanted to stop driving the distance for people who would not drive it for me. I wanted to stop sending gifts and cards and calls into a relationship that only flowed one direction. I wanted my son to see his mother choosing herself. And I wanted to tell the truth. The conversation. The next day I called my parents together. Asked them to put me on speaker. I had written notes. Not to be dramatic. Because I had a history of losing my words when it mattered. I said, "I want to tell you some things and I would like you to let me finish before you respond." Mom said okay. Dad was quiet. I said, I love you both. That has never been the question. The question has been whether the way this family operates is something I can keep participating in. I spent my childhood watching every resource in this family go to Vanessa. Not because she is bad. Not because her anxiety is not real. But because you made a decision early on that she needed everything and I needed nothing. And you have held to that decision for 33 years. You did not come to my college graduation because of Vanessa. You gave me a fraction of what you gave Vanessa for weddings. You have seen your only other grandchild 6 times in 4 years. You missed his birthday for her neighbor dispute. And when I told you I was hurt, you told me I should be grateful for being neglected because it made me strong. I stopped reading my notes. I said, I need you to understand something. The strength you admire in me was not a gift you gave me. It is what I built in the absence of the support you gave Vanessa. I am strong because I had no choice. That is not a blessing. That is what happens when a child learns that needing things is pointless. Dad said, we always loved you equally. I said, I believe you believe that. But love that does not show up is not love a child can feel. I could not feel it, and neither can Oliver, when you are on the phone with Vanessa during the 4 days you visit in a year. Mom said, we have explained this. Vanessa has needs. I said, and I am telling you that I have needs too. My son has needs, and we're going to stop waiting around to see if you decide to meet them. Mom said, what does that mean? I said, it means I am not calling as often. I am not driving to visit. I am not sending gifts into a relationship where mine are an afterthought. If you want a relationship with Oliver, it is going to require effort from you. Actual effort. Driving to see him. Showing up for his milestones. Choosing him sometimes the way you have always chosen Vanessa. Mom started crying. You are punishing us. I said, I am protecting myself and my family. Those are different things. Dad said, we will do better. I said, I have heard that before. I would like to see it. And I let the silence sit. The fallout. Vanessa called me the next day. She had heard about the conversation from Mom. She said, you really upset them. I said, I told them the truth. The truth was upsetting. She said, they have always done everything for us. I said, they have done everything for you. I funded myself from age 18. That is not everything for us. She was quiet. Then she said something I did not expect. She said, I never asked them to do less for you. I know that, I said.
This is not about you.
This is about their choices. She said, do you blame me for being the favorite? I thought about it honestly. No, I said. You did not choose it. But you also never noticed the cost of it. And I needed someone to notice. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I am sorry. I did not see it. It was the first time in 33 years my sister had apologized to me for anything related to this. I did not know what to do with it. I said, thank you for saying that. We stayed on the phone a little longer, talking in a different way than we ever had before. Carefully, honestly, like two people discovering they actually know very little about each other. What changed? My parents have called 4 times since the conversation. Different from before. They do not open with Vanessa updates anymore.
Dad asked about my job.
Remembered the project I had mentioned last time and asked what happened with it. Mom asked about Oliver. Not just how is he. What is he into lately? What did he do this week? 2 weeks ago, they drove to see us for Oliver's belated birthday celebration. They drove 300 miles. They stayed 2 days. Mom put her phone away, pushed Oliver on the swing for an hour, helped with bath time, read him 3 books at bedtime. Dad fixed the squeaky gate in the backyard that David and I had been meaning to get to for months. Played trucks on the floor with Oliver until his knees hurt, and he kept going anyway. Before they left, Mom hugged me in the driveway. She said, I did not know how much I was missing. I did not say anything. I just held on. Because some things you cannot put into words. And some things do not need them. They are not perfect. We are not healed. 33 years does not reverse in 2 months. But something shifted. And shifting is where it starts. Where we are now. It has been 2 months since the phone call where my mother told me I should be grateful for my neglect. I have therapy, every week, working through what it means to grieve a childhood while also trying to build something new. My therapist asked me something last week. She said, "What do you want the next chapter to look like?" I thought about Oliver pushing trucks across the living room floor. I thought about David making coffee in the morning without being asked because he knows exactly how I take it. I thought about my parents on the floor playing with their grandson for the first time in his 4 years. I thought about my sister saying I am sorry in a way that felt real. I said, "I want my son to know that you can love people and still require them to treat you with dignity. That you can give people chances without giving them unlimited chances. That showing up for yourself is not the same as abandoning the people you love." My therapist said, "That sounds like a good chapter." I said, "I think it might be." The thing about the favorite. Here is what nobody tells you about not being the favorite. It is not the big moments that get you. It is not the missed graduation or the unequal wedding contributions, or even missing your son's birthday. Those are painful, but they're visible. You can name them. It is the small moments that hollow you out. It is learning not to cry, because the crying made everyone uncomfortable and nobody came. It is keeping your excitement small so that when it goes unnoticed the drop is not too far. It is watching your parents beam at your sister and feeling glad for her and ashamed of yourself for noticing the difference in the same breath. It is building a whole infrastructure of self-sufficiency so complete that people point to it as evidence you did not need help, when the infrastructure itself is proof of how much you did. My parents told me I should be thankful I was not the favorite. They said neglect made me strong. Maybe in some ways they are right. I am strong. But not because they withheld things. I am strong despite it. And I would have been strong with support too.
Strong and also held.
Strong and also seen. Strong and also loved in the way that children feel when the people who are supposed to choose them do. The strength I have is real. The cost of it was real too. And I am done being grateful for the cost. For everyone asking, do you think your parents will really change? I do not know. I am watching carefully. The last 2 months have been different. But I have been disappointed before. I am cautiously hopeful and firmly boundaried. Do you resent your sister?
No.
She did not design the system. She just benefited from it. And she was the first person to actually apologize. That matters. What about therapy for your parents? Dad mentioned it. I told them I thought it would help. Whether they do it is up to them. How is David through all of this? He is the reason I had the courage to have the conversation. He reminded me that my son deserves to see his mother choose herself. That was the thing that made me finally speak. What would you tell others in the same position? Your self-sufficiency is not proof you do not need support. It is proof you adapted to not receiving it. Those are different things. And you do not have to keep adapting forever. You are allowed to ask for what you deserved all along. Are you okay?
Yes.
More than okay. I am honest now. With my parents. With my sister. With myself. And honest is better than fine.
And
my parents told me I should be thankful I was not the favorite. Apparently neglect was supposed to be a blessing. Apparently watching every resource flow to my sister made me stronger, and I should feel grateful. I do not feel grateful. I feel clear. For the first time in 33 years, I said exactly what was true. And for the first time in 33 years, something in my family actually moved. That is not because of their neglect. That is because of me. It always was. Share artifacts, download all brother inheritance demand document. MD cancelled everything after insult document. MD child who didn't need attention document. MD dreamer Thanksgiving success document. MD engaged to married man document. MD fake emergency story document. MD family secret document. MD family therapist without realizing document. MD family viral success document. MD Mill Valentine's Day emergencies document. MD only one who showed up document. MD paid for siblings education document. MD parents chose problem child document. MD parents chose problem child update document. MD parents told everyone I abandoned them document. MD rebuilt boyfriend's life document. MD replaced by step sibling document. MD separate checks lobster document. MD sibling destroyed reputation document. MD sibling moved in without asking document. MD sister crash mom's car document. MD stepmom financial exploitation document. MD unemployed wedding revenge document. MD wedding brother fraud exposed document. MD wedding photo exclusion document. GEMD.